TCS Wi-Fi keeps eRadio connected, fast, flexible and reliable. Visit tcswifi.co.za. TCS Wi-Fi, it's internet, only better.
I can't believe it. It's that time of the week again where we get together here in our studio and we talk about all things tech, everything that's happened this past week. Kaine, has it been an exceptionally busy week tech-wise? To me, it wouldn't seem so. Maybe you saw some things I didn't.
Oh yeah, no, we've got a lot of good stuff this week actually, and it's funny because sometimes I'll start out the week, and the week goes by and I'm thinking, there's not much happening in tech. And then I kind of collect all of the stuff that came past my radar and I'm like, no, this was an eventful week. But I guess in tech, every week is actually eventful.
It is. It's just about the coverage. We obviously have our favorite sources to follow on social media covering tech news. And if they don't cover it, we don't know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've got some stories here. Some I think will blow your mind. Others I think you'll find very interesting, and others you'll feel a bit concerned about. So it's all a good balance.
Concerned about, eh?
Absolutely. And you know who we're starting with?
Who?
DSTV.
Oh, really?
We're starting with DSTV now.
Good news or bad news?
Well, it's how you take it. It's all about perspective, I guess. But it's bad news for the average consumer who's doing what they're stopping being done. But in another nutshell, it's also good news because Netflix is doing it more harshly. So what's happening now
Hold on. You know what needs to be done here, don't you? It's that time, Kaine. Hold on.
Oh, we're back to the Titanic.
Sinking.
We're back.
Is there space on the door for me?
So officially now, DSTV streaming is now limited to one device.
Oh yes, that was from this week, eh?
Exactly. So the MultiChoice Group is now seeking to end the practice of password sharing on its DSTV streaming service. It has begun enforcing the new rule that limits streaming to one device at a time. Last month, and we spoke about this, the company updated its terms and conditions, telling consumers that it was making the change to tackle a scourge of password sharing and piracy.
Shoot.
Now, when they say piracy, I get it's not piracy. Piracy is the process of taking something that's online, pirating it and distributing it for free.
Unless somebody's taking videos of their screens.
But for someone to conduct piracy against DSTV, they need exclusive content.
It's not exactly. That's not piracy.
Get the exclusive content first, then we talk about piracy. So now the password sharing on DSTV has become commonplace as families and friends share the cost of subscribing to pay television operators' content boutiques, which I think is fair. Like if I buy your service, I'm allowed to give it to my friend. I don't go to the store and buy myself a new phone charger and I'm like, sorry, I'm not going to share my phone charger with you because I bought this phone charger.
It's
my phone charger. Don't try to steal my phone charger. But if I give it to you out of the goodness of my heart, it shouldn't be a problem. However, MultiChoice said in February when it announced the changed plans that password sharing had become a challenge for streaming providers globally, obviously hinting towards Netflix. And I find it kind of coincidental that when Netflix makes these changes, so does DSTV, almost as if they're acting from one voice. So I don't know if it's DSTV seizing the opportunity to introduce this idea or if it's greater than that and somehow DSTV and Netflix get themselves in a roundtable discussion to discuss potentially implementing something like this. And it would be worthwhile paying attention to your Apple TV and your Showmax and all these other subscription services to see what they're enabling, because if it's coming from a global forefront or from an individual with another person taking the opportunity, that does play a role. But users can still watch previously downloaded content on a second device. The change has been made to all DSTV subscriptions in South Africa and the rest of Africa. MultiChoice is not limiting the number of people using a login. However, it is limiting the service to one concurrent stream. Also, the number of devices users can register for streaming has not changed, remaining at 4. And this is actually where I'm a little bit happy, because yes, we take the piss out of DSTV sometimes for some of their really badly thought out plans, but by not limiting how many devices can log in is way better. Because if you limit the device that can log in, what you end up having is the subscription per device.
Yeah.
And that becomes expensive and also very unscalable. You can't be expected to have 2 DSTV subscriptions, one for your smart TV and one for your smartphone. But that's what Netflix is doing. Netflix is limiting the amount of devices you can have connected to your Netflix account, and their solution is charging you an extra 45 Rand, 55 Rand to add another account underneath you. So what DSTV doing is a little less harsh than Netflix, which is actually welcomed. It's better than it being both harsh. So you will be able to stream content on different devices from DSTV, but not at the same time. So if your family member's watching something on their phone and you try access something to watch on your DSTV decoder, sorry, it's not going to work. You will have to stop the other person in the house watching the content for you to watch. It's bad.
This is going to create a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
Possibly ending marriages.
And remotes as they get chucked across the room at other people.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my word. Let the war begin. That's going to be World War III. I'm telling you. Screw Russia. It's going to be World War III in the homes. Listen, did you know that there's a Checkers here in South Africa, the first of its kind, that is completely powered by renewable energy, solar energy.
Amen. Fantastic.
It's in Somerset West,
Fantastic.
in Cape Town. The entire store, it doesn't really have a roof. It's all solar panels. So, but let me tell you, all those solar panels keep that whole store, all the fridges, all the lights, everything on. It's the first of its kind. It's called Checkers Satari, and it's a South African first, becoming the first supermarket in the country to harness renewable energy completely as its power source.
Let's see who wins the race to the second company in South Africa to do that. That's what I'm interested in seeing now.
Yeah, exactly. But the whole roof, look at all those solar cells, all those solar panels.
Fantastic. That's excellent to see.
That's what we want to see.
It is.
I think that's quite
More
revolutionary.
Of that. And they disengage from Eskom's grid.
So never ever will they have load shedding.
Yeah, it's important. And for produce, you got you either got to sustain the refrigeration with generators, which is not a good idea considering petrol just went up. So that's not very financially feasible anymore.
And they also then have to have those noisy generators to keep them running. I don't know if you ever been in a basement at some of the malls when there's load shedding and they're running their freaking generation things. You listen, first of all, you're blown away. You can't hear yourself think. And second of all, there's this warm wind that's generated from it. It is actually quite scary to be near those generators. But I mean, that kind of noise, just to generate electricity for more, it is, you can't hear yourself.
No.
It is wonderful that it's keeping them all on and powered, but jeez.
All the cars in that basement become electric cars because you can't hear them turn on.
Yes, good point. And also,
I can live my dream.
Yes, and the gases they release, it's insane.
No, it
man.
Have
you ever seen one of those big generators?
I have.
At the malls?
They have one in the Knysna Mall in the basement in visual.
That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah,
you can go stand.
You can actually see it. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It is massive.
It's about time that things start happening like this. And you know what? I read about a very interesting initiative just this week, and I can't for the life remember where it was. It was either Spain, France, somewhere there with canals.
Okay.
And what they've done and what they're planning to do, they've run a test period where they've implemented some solar panels. But the way they've done it is so clever. So instead of creating a solar farm, which is traditionally a piece of land that has a bunch of solar panels on it that all generate power, there was also another initiative that changed the way you place the solar panels on the ground. So instead of having to mount it on concrete, they just mount it straight to the ground and attach them together. It creates like 30% less cost of creating a solar farm. But this particular company one-upped that, and what they've done is they've placed solar panels above the canals, which transport the water. Does two things. One, it generates power by utilizing unused space. Two, it reduces the amount of evaporation happening of that water and saves 30% water, right? So they've built something which, if they happen to cover every single canal with solar panels, they will save an immense amount of water and generate electricity that could power thousands of houses. And that's clever.
Very clever. It's the way to go. That's the future.
That's out-the-box thinking.
Stop relying on power utilities.
Exactly. Like Eskom, I even read another article. Eskom's creating a green energy generation unit now. They're building one.
Oh dear.
I don't know how to feel about it. I feel happy, but also like very displeased that it takes this long for them to start the process. Year 4 to load shedding, like, you know what we need? We need green energy. Welcome to the club.
But I'm still concerned about Koeberg, eh?
Oh, yeah.
The nuclear plant, because I don't know if you saw last week, I think, there was a bit of a mishap. Somebody opened the wrong valve or something. It almost ended in a disaster.
They were working on one of the power plants, one of the nuclear facilities, and they turned off a valve, closed a valve for the wrong building. And it almost caused a catastrophic failure. And that's a nuclear power plant.
I think twice before I switch on a switch. How can you not be careful when you close those valves and stuff? Kaine, it blows my mind, but I'm very concerned about that. I mean, we cannot afford a nuclear accident.
No, that's a catastrophe. That's absolutely devastating.
Jeez.
And for that to be the reason it failed, human error on a...
It's usually human error.
It's like hiring a plumber to work on your nuclear power plant. He's going to make a mistake, but hire the experts, So, next up, are we going on a music break?
Yes, what have you got for us when we come back?
So, we've got some turmoil between drivers and Uber and Bolt.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes.
The taxis are blocking the highway as well.
It's going to be heavy.
That happened today, I think.
So we're going to talk about that and how Uber and Bolt is dealing with it, which is quite clever on Uber's part. It's going to be difficult.
They've also got a rape case or something going on there against a Bolt driver.
Bolt is in dire circumstances.
It's not looking good for the company.
No. And TransUnion hackers have leaked CELC and ANC member databases, but we're talking millions of people's personal data exposed, of which that could be you.
Oh dear.
So we're going to take a look at that.
Here's the Chainsmokers. They've got a new song called iPad. Do people still use their iPads? I haven't seen somebody with an iPad recently.
Someone once took a photo of me the other day with an iPad, and I was like, it seems like such a hard task to achieve.
Because it's so big.
Yeah, you're basically holding up a whiteboard as a camera.
Yes. Yeah, oh gosh. That's a nice one. The Chainsmokers and iPad. I haven't had one of those. I've never ever had an iPad, actually, which is quite funny.
It's apparently a very good investment.
Is it nice to have an iPad?
I just can't get... I'm a laptop guy. I am, and I don't like the idea of working and doing work on a screen. But at the same time, sometimes I wish my phone screen was bigger. And that's where an iPad comes in.
And then people stand there with their whiteboards. That's a bit funny. Can you take a call on the iPad?
You can.
How would you do that?
Instead of picking it up and putting it to your head, you put your head to the table.
Oh, that's funny.
No, but on a serious note, we have the Public-Private Transport Association, or PPTA, expecting at least 30,000 drivers from Uber Eats, Bolt Food, and InDriver and Mr. D Food will partake in a national shutdown of e-hailing and app-based delivery services today. Right? This is happening today. That is what PPTA's founder told ENCA on Monday. The organization claims to represent a collective of e-hailing representative bodies that want the government to regulate the industry and give drivers more say on pricing. Its 3-day strike begins on Tuesday, starting with a slow drive from Marabastad in Pretoria to the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition offices in the capital CBD. PPTA then handed over a memorandum with the drivers' demands. They also intended to hand over a memorandum at the union buildings appealing directly to President Cyril Ramaphosa. The strike will continue on Wednesday and culminate in a national shutdown on Thursday, 24 March, when drivers aim to block public roads and disrupt access to critical institutions. And Eon just showed me a picture now of what this is looking like, and it's not looking good. It's really looking not good.
Yeah.
They advised commuters in the country who relied on e-hailing services to make alternative arrangements, saying that there would be a limited number of drivers available. Even those who are not participating in the active strike to submit the memorandum will be offline at home. So people are like literally taking your ability to get an Uber or a Bolt or an Uber Eats or a Bolt Food or a Mr. D delivery, anything like that is taken off the table. They're trying to reduce the amount of available service providers in the area. I wonder what happens to the one guy that's traveling, zigzag across the whole entire country trying to give everyone their food. But ultimately, they're trying to actually get South Africa to create a national regulatory committee that ensures that drivers can increase the cost that they charge for you, the person who's getting the lifts. They want more money out of it, and this is their way of doing it. And ultimately, we know Uber is not a South African company. Bolt is. But
Yeah.
I just got a notification
Me
2
too.
minutes ago from
Me
Uber.
too, but I closed it now. I was looking for it now on my phone. I was like, hey, Ken, I got a notification. You got yours there. What is
Yes.
it saying? Something about ETA?
So they said that currently services may be sporadic and unreliable, as there's currently strikes on their apps and things like that, and that we should expect less reliable services over the course of the next few days as this is happening. And it's coming from Uber on the day. I mean, they've got international attention. I mean, they're getting what they want out of it. But ultimately, don't try and get an Uber today.
But
It's not
Kane,
gonna work.
I can never get an Uber.
Really?
Yes.
It's in Iceland now.
No, but I can't get one.
Have you tried?
I've tried. It says busy. I checked it out one day. I was like, hey, let me try it.
Okay, well,
It said busy.
there's only one
The
driver
drivers
at
are
the
always for the whole town.
Yeah.
Is that not a bit of a problem? Don't people want to be Uber drivers? Well, it's a great opportunity if you have a car.
It is.
Not your skadonk. Don't take your skadonk because then people can't get to it. Come on, it's a great opportunity. Or do you not want strangers
I
in
actually
your
got
car?
an Uber this morning, so Neisner's not striking.
So you had an Uber. Okay, now how long did you wait for it?
A few minutes. It's quick.
What?
Yeah. So it's all about timing, right?
Because always, even on Bolt, it says driver's busy. Then you can't click on it.
Then you got to wait until they're not busy.
Yeah, and then they asked me if I wanted to be an Uber driver. There was a pop-up. I was like, no, I'm looking...
I want to lift. I don't have one.
I want to lift. I want to lift. Yes, it's good money.
My word. It is. Do you know what TransUnion is?
Yes.
So they have been hacked.
Ooh.
And SALC and ANC member databases were leaked.
Whoops.
But listen to this. The group claiming responsibility for the attack on TransUnion is NaughtySecTU, and has posted a SALC consumer database as part of a series of leaks to prove their claims. They have also posted a database containing the personal data of ANC members. Both databases contain names, ID numbers, and cell phone numbers. While the ANC database contains limited physical address information, the SALC dataset includes email addresses, some physical addresses, and bank account information. The ANC database contains 1.2 million records, and SALC's leaked contract subscriber database contains 1.8 million records. According to the metadata of the leaked files, the ANC database is from 21 August 2017, while the SALC database is dated 3 October 2010. NaughtySecTU, which is the hacking group who's been accused or is suspected of being part of this, first informed media that it had infiltrated a TransUnion South Africa file server last week. The group, which claims to be based in Brazil, said they broke in by brute force. Listen to this. This is crazy. They broke in by brute force, guessing usernames and passwords until they found an account whose password was password.
No.
Password. That's how they broke in. We're not computer science.
Lazy people with your lazy passwords. Look what you've done.
Exactly. So they said they made off with 4,328 gigabytes of data, including a TransUnion database for one of its products and a Department of Home Affairs database containing the identity information of 54 million South Africans.
Is that why the system's offline?
They have demanded $15 million or 222 million rand in cryptocurrency to not leak the data. TransUnion has maintained that the incident impacted an isolated server holding limited data from its South African business. Limited. 54 million South African records and 3 million
limited.
ANC. It's all limited.
No, they're just trying to put out the fire.
It initially stated that the leak only contained telephone numbers, email addresses, identity numbers, and physical addresses. However, in publicly posted samples, it showed that they also have bank account and vehicle registration information. TransUnion has not answered My Broadband's questions about this data, only saying it believes the 54 million record database is from a 2017 data incident unrelated to TransUnion. Naughty Sec TU has disputed this and started posting an increasing amount of samples to prove that they obtained the data from TransUnion servers. Like, this is real political. Everyone's trying to blame shift and get out of it, and this included President Cyril Ramaphosa and his wife's identity numbers and the ID number of Julius Malema. They have threatened to leak the personal data of the president and other political figures, as well as the data of judges, prosecutors, police, lawyers, and advocates. My Broadband contacted Cell C for comment, which explained that it relies on credit bureaus to decide on creditworthiness of prospective customers. Currently, Cell C is not using TransUnion for this service and is not aware of any of their subscriber database on TransUnion being leaked previously. Cell C takes the security of subscriber data very seriously and in line with privacy laws and measures in place to ensure compliance with such requirements and to mitigate risk. This includes third parties that the company deals with. This was said by Cell C, and it's not very reassuring because they're the ones whose data got breached. You take it very seriously. Yeah, very, very seriously. In all cases of identity theft, which is currently rife in South Africa and other parts of the world, a breach can have serious implication for consumers, Cell C said. Now this is where I laugh. Citizens are urged to always be extra vigilant at times to guard against spear phishing and other illegal activities. They get hacked and their data gets breached and they're telling us we need to be careful. That's when you stop talking. You're just mumbling on now.
Oh my gosh. No, I can't deal.
Cell C said that in events like this, it guides customers to apply for protective registration through SAFPS, or South African Fraud Prevention Services, which could provide an additional layer of security. And no surprise here, the ANC did not respond to My Broadband's request for comment. And that is the TransUnion hack. And it's serious. That's a lot of personal data.
That is very serious.
I mean, vehicle registration data, physical address information data, ID numbers, bank account information for 54 million South Africans can be dire for identity theft and fraud. You basically just, if that gets leaked, you're making it 10 times easier for someone to get that last piece of information they need to get into your bank account. They have the bank account number, they have your physical ID, they have your name, they have the vehicle that you own under your name. Now they just might need your one-time PIN. And if they read that information back to you on a phishing scam, like someone calls you and says, listen, is this Kaine Wellcross with the ID number who lives in da-da-da-da-da-da-da, we're calling from the bank, we want to know something, please confirm your one-time PIN. What are you going to do? You might just say it and then you're done. So you do have to now be extra cautious about who you provide information to.
So you're saying all this was because of somebody whose password was password?
For that reason only.
So would you advise me to change my password? Mine is currently 123456.
That's like one of the most common passwords.
Not joking. But people are lazy. But anyway, it looks like there's been a setback, Kaine.
What's that? No way we're back to DSTV.
There's been a setback.
You were positive for one whole second. What happened now?
Oh, there's been a setback. Apparently, as it is right now, the story is breaking. Scores of DSTV subscribers have now complained that since the limit has been implemented, so that only one person can use it at a time, no one in the house can now...
Oh, no!
It's not recognizing it, so absolutely no one can. It looks like there's a thread going on right now on Twitter. The past 3 days already, people saying since that limit has been implemented, I wonder if it's not an IP conflict
So
thing.
now they can't
So maybe
log
it's
in.
seeing everybody in the house as different people or something, and now it blocks them. So now no one can get in.
That's really dangerous on their part. You're going to lose subscribers left, right, and center.
The last few you had left.
What is your comeback solution? Okay, for everybody that hasn't had service for the last 5 days, we're going to give you a bit of money back. Like, it's not going to work. What are you going to do? I can't believe this stuff is happening. I mean, we've spoken about it before. When you're making big updates to millions of people who use your service, don't rush it. Don't pre-announce it. Do it and make sure it's done properly, and people will forget about it. Do it and mess it up, and no one will forget about it, and no one's gonna. Now people are gonna hear people weren't able to log into their DSTV accounts. Now someone's thinking of getting a DSTV contract in place, and now they just decide, I'm not gonna do that. It's very dangerous. I can't believe it. No ways.
What have you got for us when we come back, Kaine?
So we have some interesting stuff. So Starlink, anyone who's getting Starlink internet needs to know this. Starlink has upped their price.
I saw that. So another mortgage on the house.
It comes in competitively expensive. Put
Yes.
it that way. Google's internet cable has landed in Africa.
Okay, is
which
that a good thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
And the massive hacking group that hacked into EA, Ubisoft, all these big companies, Lapsus, a teen is reportedly the mastermind behind this hacking group.
Really?
And we're going to read about that.
Also, there's a very nice new song by the Imagine Dragons. It's called Bones.
I really like Imagine Dragons. Let's hear it.
Listen to this. Here it is. Brand new. Ooh, I like it a lot. Brand new song by the Imagine Dragons. It's called Bones. They never ever disappoint, the Imagine Dragons. I must tell you, with all their releases.
Ooh, it's been good.
They've got that sound. There's this sound.
It's like harmonic
they've got.
kind of. It's very nice. I've never not liked an Imagine Dragons song. I think the only time I've ever liked an Imagine Dragons song is when I like it so much I listen to it too much.
Yeah, and then you get sick
And
of
then
it.
I hate it. Yes. It's the first
Absolutely.
skip,
Absolutely.
Okay, so Starlink. Anyone who's purchased a Starlink starter kit or has put down their deposit for a Starlink internet service has some things to consider. So the satellite internet service Starlink is hiking their prices of its equipment and monthly subscription fee. So it's not just an installation price hike, it's actually a month-to-month price hike as well. Starlink blamed excessive inflation for the price adjustment in an email sent to customers. Effective immediately, the price of a Starlink kit, which consists of an antenna, router, cables, and mounting equipment, is jumping from $499 or 7,400 Rand to $549 or 8,150 Rand. So it's about just short of 1,000 Rand increase for your starter kit. And that will apply to those who had already paid their kit deposits in countries where the service has yet to launch. New orders will pay $599 or 8,800 Rand. In addition, Starlink will bump its monthly subscription fee from $99 or 1,500 Rand to $110 or 1,600 Rand. The effective date of that increase will vary from consumer to consumer, depending on when and where their monthly payment occurs. The deposit amount of $99 in South Africa seems to be remaining the same, but customers who have paid deposits will now be expected to pay $50 more for the kit once the service becomes available. Those who have not put down a deposit will pay $100 more for the equipment, and Starlink is available in 29 countries and is expected to arrive in South Africa in 2023.
Next year. Okay.
But they do claim that there have been, like, normally in South Africa when we see a price hike, it's because they're not making enough money to sustain the business anymore. But I think it's a little bit of a different scenario with Starlink. Obviously, they attributed the majority of the price hike to inflation. That's problem number one. But ultimately, Starlink has further motivated the increases by elaborating on its continued investment in the service. Since launching their public beta service in October 2020, the Starlink team has tripled the number of satellites in orbit, quadrupled the number of ground stations, and also made continuous improvements to their network. So it's not like they're just doing nothing. I mean, there is double the coverage, quadruple the ground coverage, and then ultimately betterment of the service that is already there to improve your user experience. So would I pay that? Yeah, I would. If I didn't have an internet service and Starlink was an option and it was here in South Africa and its startup cost was 8,800 Rand plus 1,500 Rand per month or 1,600 Rand per month, I would do it.
Did you see what Telkom is doing now?
No.
They rolled out its switch campaign. So they're now encouraging ADSL customers. People are still using ADSL? What? ADSL customers to migrate to fiber by offering them a free month of internet access and waiving migration fees. The 1 month free subscription, router and installation is available to Telkom's DSL and copper voice customers, the copper that's left that they haven't stolen, that migrate to its fiber to the home services, provided they are in an area covered by OpenServe. Telkom says that making the switch will reduce the risk of cable theft and increase the reliability of its customers' connections. And sounds pretty fair to move you from ADSL to fiber.
So you basically take out a 24-month contract, get 23 months that you have to pay for, get a free month, and you have fiber.
Yeah,
do it.
And then you're moving with the times because ADSL is redundant, unfortunately.
No, and it's
over.
Terrible broadband quality. Not internet quality, broadband. Its ability to computate multiple people requesting internet content at the same time.
But when I was living in Sedgefield, I was very fortunate. We were very fortunate. We had an amazing internet connection. And you know why? I think it's because we lived quite close to the exchange.
That does help.
The exchange was a street or two away.
That does help.
I must tell you, if our internet went down once a year, that was a lot.
Yeah.
We had a very good internet connection there.
Apparently you lose like a meg a second per 100 or per kilometer away from the exchange.
Yeah. So I think that really counted in our favor.
It does, but still the ADSL now today is outdated. It's like using dial-up equivalent. It really is. It's terrible.
But I mean, you are so fancy now with your fiber. How is your fiber?
It doesn't fail.
Are you happy? You're still happy with your fiber?
I'm so happy.
Gonna ask you every week for the next month or so. How's your fiber?
I'm more happy with my. My WhatsApp still requests the privacy accepting thing. I still haven't accepted.
That was on my agenda the other day to ask you.
I still haven't accepted.
But you're still using it.
No, I get like a pop-up a day, but it's almost become second nature to close it. I'm like, let me go into my WhatsApp. Yeah, this is how you get to your chats. You got to close the pop-up and then you have your chats.
Yeah, my Susan, one of our regular listeners.
Yes.
Susan actually said to me the other day. She was sitting behind this girl in class at the university, and. For some reason, whenever this girl opened WhatsApp or any app on her phone, she had to watch ads first. And I was like, what is on this girl's phone? Is her phone infected or something? Why would you have to watch ads to access WhatsApp and stuff? What do you think happened there? Do you think she's got some spyware on there or what?
I think she tried maybe she downloaded a game that costs money and tried to do it for free, and now she has to deal with what comes with downloading a paid game for free or something. It comes from installing software that you're not supposed to install on your phone or might be not on the Play Store and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, well, sorry, Chris is showing me something here. Something lock or block. She's got a lock on her phone. Is that why she has to?
If you lock your WhatsApp, maybe the service is free and you have to watch an ad in order to unlock it, but it stays locked for a person.
I can't see that far, Chris. I'm sorry. What is he saying? I don't understand sign language.
It's called app lock. It's called app lock. So maybe she's using like an app lock feature.
Why would you want to lock your apps?
Well, if someone gets onto your phone, maybe you don't want them going onto your WhatsApp.
Really?
Maybe that's something like...
What would be on your WhatsApp? No, I'm joking. No, I know it is a very personal
it's your entire
space.
It's like being able to look at every conversation as a person has had that day.
Yeah, that's freaky.
But if it wasn't digital, if I could just go to you and be like, beep boop, and all of a sudden I know everything you've said the entire day to anyone, I could understand the need for potentially having locks. Also, if you work in a business where that business puts a lot of pressure on you to not work with other businesses, but you as a person trying to make money need to do that in order to sustain yourself, you don't want the possibility of having to detriment your income if you're doing your job well. You might not want them to have access to seeing what your messages are, or maybe you're uncomfortable with your position in your job and you like to vent out some of your frustration. You don't want your employer to accidentally stumble upon that information. That's you venting out the anger, you know. So there's definitely reasons for it, but ultimately an app like that needs to make money, and apparently how they make money is putting ads on. So now you watch an ad every time you go into WhatsApp.
Mystery solved. Thank you so much. Thanks, Chris.
So now we're taking a look at the Google internet cable that has landed in Africa. So a subsea cable owned by Google that promises to double internet speeds for millions of people in Africa arrived in Togo on Friday. The company said the latest step in a multi-year project to provide cheaper access to users across the continent. The Equino cable, the first of its kind to reach Africa, has wound its way from Portugal and will double internet speed for Tonga's 8 million residents, Google said in a statement. That may be a taste of things to come for other countries set to benefit in a region where internet use is rising fast, but while networks are often crippling slowly and are a drag on economic development. So it's nice to see some internet cables. We need these things. That's how we get internet to our continent. They run under the ocean often, and this is obviously one of those cables has now reached sub-Saharan Africa, and because of that we are able to potentially see more people with an active internet connection, which Google claims could create up to 300,000 indirect jobs.
Wow.
And raise the GDP by $193 million. That's what they said. Whether it's true or not isn't, but internet can do a lot for people. It can help them earn money, can help them find a job, can help them communicate with people, can help them work remotely. So there's definitely advantages to that, and it's good to see a big player in the space like Google stepping up and doing that. Now, Eon, here's something very interesting and sort of kind of tragic. I know you know what a GIF is. Yes.
We all use GIFs.
On
WhatsApp is nice. So you type in kind of like feeling angry, and then you get all these funny GIFs. It's like moving images of about 5 seconds, I reckon.
So the creator of the GIF format has passed away.
Oh no!
Yeah, Stefan Wilhite, the creator of the GIF, has passed away.
But GIFs have been around for years. I mean, even just when the internet came out, if you saw a movable image, that was a GIF.
Yeah.
Why is it called a GIF? It's an abbreviation, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
For I don't know what.
Graphics Interchange Format is what it stands for.
Thank you. Do you say GIF?
GIF. Yeah, it's actually funny because he actually had a conference where he said how to pronounce GIF. It's GIF. You pronounce
I've always said
GIF.
GIF, but somebody said to me GIF. I was like, no, that doesn't sound right.
It's 100% GIF.
Please send me your GIF. That's not right.
So Stefan Wilhite, one of the lead inventors of the GIF, died last week from COVID at the age of 74. Wow. According to his wife, who spoke to The Verge, he was surrounded by family when he passed, and his obituary page notes that even with all of his accomplishments, he remained a very humble, kind, and good person. Stefan Wilhite worked on GIF, or Graphics Interchange Format, which is now used for reactions, messages, and jokes, while employed at CompuServe in the 1980s.
Wow.
He retired around the early 2000s and spent his time traveling, camping, and building model trains in his basement. Although GIFs are synonymous with animated internet memes these days, that wasn't the reason Wilhite created the format. CompuServe introduced them in the late 1980s as a way to distribute high-quality, high-resolution graphics in color at a time when internet speeds were glacial compared to what they are today. So he invented GIF all by himself.
Wow.
On his own. He actually did that at home and brought it into work after he perfected it, his wife said. She also said that he would figure out everything privately in his head and then go into town and program it on his computer.
Oh, wow.
And he created the GIF. And
lots of respect. Thank you, Mr. GIF. We appreciate it. Sorry, what was his name? What was his name?
Stefan Wilhite.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I like using GIFs in my conversations.
They're perfect to just convey emotion and humor. I really
Did you know
like
that
them.
you get a GIF maker as well? Like you get a couple of apps where you can make your
often.
own.
I turn a video into a GIF. It's really helpful, not just from a comedy perspective, but if let's say you create a tutorial blog, about how to do something. Instead of having one video where you watch the whole thing, you can have sections of text complemented by a video doing the things in the text you say you need to do.
Isn't that a lot of effort?
It is. and it isn't. Like, I looked at a thing yesterday before I went for a jog. Great stretches for runners. And every image was a GIF. So instead of having to read text about how to perform the stretch or look at a series of images on how to perform the stretch, you can see him doing it and it's an image. So they've become quite versatile, and it's sad to say that he passed away, but ultimately he left behind a legacy, which has evolved quite a lot since the 1980s.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Next up, a teen is reportedly the mastermind behind the Lapsus hacking group, right? A Bloomberg report has more details on the group's supposed leader. In recent weeks, the Lapsus, which has its last S on the word is a dollar sign, hacking group has taken credit for accessing company data from Nvidia, Samsung, Ubisoft, Okta, and even Microsoft. And according to a Bloomberg report, an England-based teenager might be the person heading up the operation. 4 researchers investigating the hacking group Lapsus on behalf of companies that were attacked said they believe the teenager is the mastermind. However, the teenager apparently uses the online alias White or Breachbase, has not been accused by law enforcement, and the researchers haven't been able to conclusively tie him to every hack Lapsus has claimed. The teenager is apparently based about 5 miles outside of Oxford University, and Bloomberg says it was able to speak to his mother for 10 minutes through a doorbell intercom system at the home. The teenager's mother told the publication she did not know of allegations against him. She declined to discuss her son in any way or make him available for an interview, and said the issue was a matter for law enforcement and that she was contacting the police. How crazy that a teenager can lead a extremely talented hacking group that has hacked into some of the biggest, most data secure companies that exist, and it's a teenager. And they said, in fact, some of the hacks were so sophisticated in nature that they suspect it could have been an automated hack, meaning he programmed a program to automate the process of hacking into one of the biggest
he is a bloody
companies.
genius.
A bloody genius.
And that's the thing, you never know with teenagers. You think they're in their room listening to music or watching Netflix, meanwhile he's hacking all around the world. You just never know, eh? Jeez. Well done. I take my hat off, eh?
Absolutely.
It's good.
Remember a few weeks ago we discussed the NASA tender to basically go and create a moon lander in space.
Yes.
And they awarded it to Starlink.
Yes.
And Amazon's Blue Origin, or Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, was not happy with it at all and ended up suing NASA to lose. And now NASA has announced plans to develop a second moon lander alongside SpaceX's Starship. So this is in addition to the contract they awarded to Starlink, which was originally a competition between 3 finalists, of which 2 would be chosen and only 1 was chosen. So today, NASA announced plans to develop a second human lunar lander for its Artemis program, the agency's major spaceflight initiative to send humans back to the moon. This is a big thing because the last time we were on the moon was 1970. And this will be the first time that we've revisited the moon in over 50 years.
I think it's time for us to visit the moon again.
So to build the vehicle, the space agency is calling on commercial space companies to propose concept for landers that can take people to and from the moon's orbit and the lunar surface, with the goal of having them ready by 2026 to 2027 at the earliest. NASA already holds a contract with SpaceX to develop their lunar lander for Artemis, which aims to land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon in 2021. That's pretty big. On the moon, and in 21, the space agency awarded a sole contract to SpaceX worth of $2.9 billion. They're not trying to land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon this year. A year ago. It's still happening. It's in development. Starship's vehicle into a lander that can take humans to and from the lunar surface. As of now, both NASA and SpaceX are working towards conducting the first Artemis lunar landing as early as 2025. We're talking about going back to the moon in less than 3 years. And remember what the cameras were used when we recorded the first moon landing in 1970.
Imagine
black
now.
and white, grainy, terrible quality, like 360p. And now we're going back there with 4K,
Oof.
8K resolution cameras.
Do a virtual tour of the moon.
VR cameras.
Yeah.
The excitement levels are at a sky high here in my life right now, thinking about this.
It's a good time to be alive.
Good time. NASA had originally wanted to pick 2 companies to develop human landers for Artemis in order to inspire competition and keep costs down. The agency unfortunately hit a budget issue and had to only pick one. For the year 2021, NASA had requested $3.4 billion from Congress and only received $850 million. However, now they have received the full amount and intend to award a second moon lander opportunity to Blue Origin or even Richard Branson's space agency. We don't know who it is, but people are now allowed to submit their applications. Everyone except for Starlink is supposed to submit their applications, and they will now be selecting who will be also going to the moon in potentially 2027 at the earliest, or even 2026 if we're lucky, to land on the moon. And they want competition between these space agencies. They want to create competition from a cost perspective and also an innovation perspective. Nothing makes you innovate more than competition. So that's what they're doing at the moment. And in related to space, before we close off, there is something interesting now. You can use your mobile phone as a space monitoring tool to aid an open source project. This is actually very, very cool. So what's happening now is the Camelot app will turn your smartphone into an instrument for crowdsourced science. Leave it by your window each night with your sat-nav positioning turned on, and your phone will record small variations in satellite signals, gathering data for machine learning analysis of meteorology and space weather patterns. A newly released Android app that you can go download now will turn your smartphone into an instrument for crowdsourced science. You can leave it by your window with your sat-nav on, and your phone will record small variations in satellite signals, gathering data for the machine learning technology. The Camelot app, developed through ESA's Navigation, Innovation and Support Program, or NAVISP, or NAVISP, with the support of the agency's GNSS, or Science Support Center, is suitable for more than 50 models in the smartphone market, which come equipped with dual-frequency sat-nav receivers. As well as helping to create new Earth and space weather forecasting models, participants are also in with the chance to win prizes, including new phones and Amazon vouchers. This 4-month citizen science campaign runs until the end of July. Global navigation satellite systems such as Europe's Galileo have revolutionized everyday life, and the previously modulated signals that are continuously generated by the dozens of satellites in orbit are also providing a valuable resource for science, increasingly employed to study Earth's atmosphere, oceans, and surface environments. When satellites send information from space or from orbit to Earth, there are certain things that can affect how those signals are received. Right? It could be, for instance, tens of thousands of permanent GNSS stations are continuously recording sat-nav data. As the satellite signal traveled to Earth, they are modified by the amount of water vapor in the lower atmosphere, and this can help forecast things like rainfall in a particular region, depending on how much water is in the atmosphere and how long the signal takes to be received. This is all what plays a role. So sat-nav signals also undergo delay and fading, known as scintillation, and as they pass through irregular plasma patches in the ionosphere, this electrically charged upper atmosphere layer is continuously changing, influenced by solar activity, geomagnetic conditions, and the local time of day. Dual frequency sat-nav receivers can compensate for this effect by comparing the two frequencies. So ultimately, you have an opportunity to download an app, leave it at a window at night, allow it to receive sat-nav geosatellite signals and information, and in return it relays that to a machine learning algorithm to help forecast weather, understand how satellites are being received, information from satellites are being received, and help them adjust to send the signal better. But at the same time, you can help play the role of being a future aid in weather forecasting, rainfall forecasting, geomagnetic storm forecasting. All this stuff, you can actually be a part of it. It's not there to find out your geographical location. That's not what this program is all about. This program is about allowing you to assist in providing data, because everyone lives in different places. The fact that everyone's in different places and the information, how it differs, plays a role in calculating atmospheric pressure and all sorts of stuff like that. So you can play a role in helping collect this information, help change the way that we predict the weather. No one's been as frustrated as me when you think it's a sunny day tomorrow and it's flipping hailing. You don't want that. So you can actually do that and partake in crowdsourcing initiative and potentially win real cashback rewards, Amazon vouchers, and all sorts of stuff just by partaking in the service. Costs you nothing. Why not? I think it's quite a cool initiative.
Kaine, wow. Just before we wrap up, I just want to ask you, in what position must your phone be when you put it at the window?
Well, your phone is equipped to receive satellite information. Most modern phones that have these dual satellite receivers are equipped to receive information from satellites, whether it's an internet connection or whether it's something like a DSTV signal. These are all ways that your phone would need to receive data. So just leaving it there with that function turned on is enough, because it will collect the information itself. It's how it's programmed to do it.
I'm just a little concerned, we don't all live in safe neighborhoods. Would it be wise to leave your phone in the windowsill? And then, because I can tell you my forecast is that the next morning you won't have a phone.
Very fair point.
Yes, you didn't think of that, did you?
If you have a sunroof, now's the time to use it. But maybe don't leave your phone on the second, third, fourth story away from easy access.
Imagine being all excited, leaving your phone on the windowsill. Oh, can't wait to read my data in the morning, and then the next morning you don't have a phone.
You got an email, you've won a $50 Amazon voucher, but now you get $50 off your new phone because it got stolen. Insurance doesn't cover it. What do you mean you left it by the windowsill? Like, were you tempting them? No new phone, sorry.
Oh my word, that's brilliant. But anyway, I think of all those things. But anyway, it's a very good initiative. Kaine, thank you so much. That's it for another Tech Plus for this week. Sorry, I almost forgot the show's name. For another Tech Plus, I think I was actually checking my calendar while I'm busy talking, so that's why I sound so distracted. But it looks like, we've got another one. Yeah, we still have another one left for March.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so the last Tech Plus of March will be next week.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Very last day of March.
We didn't get through all the topics, but there's definitely a lot that we can discuss next week. But there's a lot of things for us to be following up on as well. So I'm looking forward to next week's Tech Plus. Just a special thank you and shout out to everybody listening and supporting us every single week. It's been a blast over the last year doing this, and everyone have a great day.
Thank you, Kaine. You too. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you right here next week.
Sounds like a plan. Cheers, Eon.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
man.